Shalom, brothers and sisters. Welcome, and I hope all of you had a restful Shabbat. And just wanted to make another update to our discussion about the events that we're seeing unfold. And I want to again thank all of you for being here. Yeah, so in the last 24 or so hours, since February 28th till now, it's March 1st, we have seen a lot of amazing things that have taken place. And if you are in the Word of the Most High, none of this is a surprise. The Most High, Yahuwah, is the author, and He is the finisher of all things. So before the foundations of this world was laid, He knew exactly everything that would take place, and He knows exactly how this story is going to unfold and how it will end. So we don't have anything to worry about. We have absolutely nothing to worry about. If you are in the Most High, if you are Yasharal, if you have turned from your sins and repented, and you are walking with the Most High, and you know that His Son, Yahusha, came and gave His life, so that not only us, not only Yasharal, but also other nations, peoples, and tongues can also fellowship with the Most High, as long as they know, acknowledge, love, and respect the Most High's people. So I want to welcome all of you, as I said, and go over some of the things that we have seen unfold over the last day or so. So in the previous video, the destruction of the heathens, I went over a few points at that time concerning I went over a few points concerning Amalek, Edom, and Ishmaelites. Or let me say Edomites, Amalek, and Ishmaelites. And it was where the President of the United States was saying he's going to be taking over the land, Gaza. And he would remove the Ishmaelites off of that land, and rebuild it to make sure he's making that money to recoup any investment the United States has made over in that region. And we are seeing something similar, but now it's in the Eastern European country that Russia is currently, according to them, doing their military exercise. It's not a WAR, it's a military exercise. And they want to make sure that's clear. It's not an invasion either, according to what they are saying. So we see Zelensky, he went to the White House under the understanding that documents would be signed, confirming a business decision of him and the Eastern European government that the United States of America would now have rights to $500 billion worth of rare earth minerals in perpetuity, and that American companies would be responsible for extracting these minerals, again in perpetuity, which means forever, forever according to how long these people view forever, I guess until their system ends, it'd be a forever deal. And during that meeting, what I saw, because I did watch the video, the whole news conference in its entirety, it started out with Zelensky wanting to highlight the events that have led up to Russia going into the country from their side, show pictures of the citizens of that country suffering, making statements after the President of the United States gave answers concerning the future security of the Eastern European country, that there'll be something that'll be discussed afterwards, that the most important thing to do is to make that deal, to sign that deal. And it looks like Zelensky was not happy with that. He wasn't having that. And he did not trust what the administration, the American administration, was saying and what Donald Trump was saying. He did not trust it. I don't know if any of you picked up on it, but there was a man, I think he was wearing a blue suit in the back, made a comment about the attire that Zelensky was wearing, that it was inappropriate, asking him why he doesn't wear a suit. And Zelensky pretty much answered and said, once the war is done, he'll get a good suit to wear. And it went downhill from there. I know most people have said it happened with the vice president, that it went downhill from there, but I do feel that there is a deep or strong dislike that the current American administration has for Zelensky, and they would rather deal with someone else than deal with him. So, what are we looking at? What are we seeing here that we've never seen this before, where an American president pretty much throws out a head of state from the White House, cancels lunch, cancels the press conference that was supposed to be held after the signing of the documents, and where they have openly showed, complete disregard for maintaining a decorum in the White House in front of the press, and avoiding having certain discussions in the public eye in front of the media. And yes, Zelensky did make some comments asking JD Vance, what are you talking about? About this peace agreement. What are you saying? These agreements have been violated by Russia. What are you what are you talking about? And it could have been handled a different way. I will say that it could have definitely been handled a different way. But it goes to show that among these nations and these peoples, there is a definite rift that has taken place long ago, and it is now visible on the world stage, and it has become more and more visible. And the rift is not going to be mended. They're not going to come together and say, that was something we can just put under the bridge. Let's move forward. We're good. We understand your people have suffered. We get it. Come back and let's make a deal. I don't think we're going to see that. Zelensky today went to the UK and signed a $5 billion loan agreement with the UK. Previously, I think his name is Steimer, the Prime Minister of the UK. He visited the White House. Keir Starmer. He visited the White House before Zelensky arrived, and that didn't go too well, but it was good enough that there is still room for negotiations. So one of the things that the President of the United States asked Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK, is if his military can beat the Russian military. And Prime Minister Starmer pretty much answered with a nervous laugh, because we all know that they can't. They can't beat the Russian military. And then before that, we had Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, visited. And just like with other prime minister of the UK, it didn't go, the best way it possibly could go, because certain things were said about the amount of money that was given to the Eastern European country, if it was a loan, if it was a grant, and Emmanuel Macron corrected Trump. So, and I think also Prime Minister Stemmer also corrected the President of the United States concerning the amount of money that was given to the Eastern European country. So there are rifts there. Now, previous to that, the United States voted with Russia, China, and North Korea. Pretty much saying that they are not going to condemn Moscow's actions of invading the Eastern European country. Which, have we ever seen this before? I haven't. I haven't seen this before. So again, the question is, what are we seeing? What are we witnessing here? We are seeing, as I mentioned in the first video discussing the destruction of the judgment of the heathens, what we are seeing is Edom turning against all of those that have conspired with them. And I did mention in that video that as time goes, we will see Edom turn on Europe. So all of these alliances that have been made, they're going to turn on all of their so-called friends. They are going to look to isolate themselves. And this is not something that, they're setting up to say, hey, we want to isolate ourselves. But that is the result of their actions. That will be the result of their actions, is that they will isolate themselves, because they have to turn on those that have conspired with them. So Amalek, that is in the Eastern European country, they have to turn on them. they have to turn on all the other peoples that are in those lands in Europe, because that is what the Most High said that they're going to do. And as they turn on these countries, and it's not just in Europe they're going to do it, they're going to do it all over the world. Countries that have alliances with the United States, they have agreements with the United States. They will, if they know they can get away with it, if the United States knows that they can get away with it, they are going to turn on all of them. If they know they can get away with betraying these nations and these peoples, they will do it. The United States will do it. If it means that they're, in their mind, again, in Edom's mind, they feel that, hey, it's going to put us back on top. It's going to make us get one step higher to where we want to be, one step closer to where we want to be. They are going to do it. They will do it. And what we are witnessing with Zelensky and the United States response to the Eastern European country is them turning on an ally because in their mind they can get away with it. Because according to Trump, they don't have any cards. They don't have any cards. They can get away with this. Plus, there's, all those rare earth minerals that the United States, that administration, the current administration, they haven't forgotten about those rare earth minerals. They haven't forgotten about them, and they know that the Eastern European country is weak. They're going all around the world asking for money, for loans, for grants, asking for military equipment, asking for help, because the United States is not going to help them. They're not going to help them. The United States is going to formulate a plan to still get what they want, which is those rare earth minerals. I do not see America walking away and saying, so sad, so bad, or so bad, so sad, let's just move on and just forget about all the resources that is in that Eastern European country. I don't see it. I don't see them just walking away and just saying, hey, let's just move on. They didn't do it with Gaza, right? They're not doing it with Gaza. Over in Gaza, they are friends with Amalek, but in this Eastern European country, they're not friends with them anymore. It's the same people, just different regions of the world. So if they didn't walk away from Gaza and say, we spent all this money sending all these weapons to destroy this area, we'll just call it a day and we'll just walk away. Have you ever known the United States to do that? I haven't. So why would they do it with this Eastern European country? And you will see them becoming more and more aggressive toward European countries, this administration. They're going to start, what does the Most High's word say? They're going to start talking like a lion. And it's going to catch a lot of these countries off guard. It's going to catch a lot of these countries off guard. Because they're not used to it. They are not used to it at all. They're thinking that if they just sit down with this administration, reason with them, that somehow they'll come to an agreement and things won't go back to how they were before, but there will be an understanding that Europe doesn't mean the United States any harm. We are just protecting our land, our people, and our resources. And the United States will back off. That's not going to happen. You're not going to see that. The United States is going to get more aggressive. What we saw in the Oval Office on February 28th, they're not going to backtrack from there. Like they're not going to go back and say, "Oh, my bad. You probably were a little bit too aggressive. We apologize. There was a misunderstanding. Let's talk about this." We're not going to see that. We're not going to see that. What we're going to see is they'll just get more aggressive. The United States is showing the world that there is a definite change concerning how America protects and defends their interest, and that Europe is no longer a priority to do so with, but was used to get into Europe, into that Eastern European country, to get to those resources. That's what we're seeing. Donald Trump is not just going to forget about those resources. There are corporations that want those resources. And there are people in the government that want to recoup the investment that was made over the last 3 or so years assisting that Eastern European country to fight. And as I said before, they are going to fight, they're going to fight, and they're going to fight. They're going to fight going down, and I am talking about Edom. They are going to fight and fight and fight because they're broke. They need to find money somewhere. They need to find resources somewhere that they can turn into a tangible that will give value, that will sustain them and pay off debt. And not only that, again, because they're just wicked, they want that money. They're not thinking, outside of that when it comes to sustaining a whole country. They want to line their pockets. They want wealth for themselves and their families. And these are people that are in these corporations, people that have political interest. In that region. So, the United States and Russia are supposed to meet, I think it's in Saudi Arabia. Let me just see here. Yes, so the United States and Russia, they did meet. There was a discussion, but these are ongoing discussions that they are having. And it looks like these discussions, of course, it's not it's not, nothing is finalized right now, but they have already started meetings. So the next time when they meet, the United States and Russia, when they meet to find a way to settle this military exercise, as Russia calls it, I do not think that Zelensky will be involved. Because they were not involved in the first meeting. They were not invited. But this is going to be a discussion about Gaza, of how that's going to go about. Saudi Arabia more than likely will take the lead there along with the United States. And with the Eastern European country, it would pretty much be the United States with hand-picked leaders of Europe and Russia deciding the path forward for the Eastern European country. And I highly, highly, highly doubt that Zelensky will be involved in any of that. He's not going to be involved in it. So yes, they are turning on each other, and it has definitely accelerated. It's accelerating, and as I mentioned, it's just going to get worse. Okay, it's just going to get worse. So yeah, and again, don't be surprised if a lot of these other European countries also start coming out and saying or doing things that confirm they're also broke, like stopping a lot of social programs, stopping, cutting down on budgets for different departments, um, you know, bringing out certain programs that limit the benefits that the citizens of those countries once had, right? So up, like for example, upping the age of retirement, um, telling just as an example, telling the citizens that, you know, this social benefit, you were getting, let's say, whatever amount of EUs, 500 EUs, but now it's going to be dropped down to 300 EUs. Don't be surprised that you're going to see this. Don't be surprised if you see a lot of these European countries also laying off government workers. Let me actually look that up here. So don't be surprised. I'm just looking at the news here. It looks like in European countries they are doing layoffs as well, but it's nothing widespread right now. Let me know in the comments if where you are or if you've heard about layoffs of government workers throughout any European country. Don't be surprised if you do hear that, because they need to cut the budget. They need to reduce spending, because a lot of their money has went to this military exercise that is happening in this Eastern European country. And I just want to say this as well. These European countries that are saying that they're with the Eastern European country against Russia, they are not going to win. They are not going to win against Russia. At some point, these European countries, such as the UK, France, Germany, are the main ones. They're going to have to make a decision of how they extract themselves from such an agreement. They're going to have to find some way to take themselves out from this agreement, because they have already said that they stand with the Eastern European country. They have already extended themselves financially. They have already dedicated military equipment to them. So they're going to have to find a way to get out of it. And because Edom is turning on each other and all of these, other peoples and nations that have conspired with Edom, they don't have any problem backstabbing you. They have no problem talking out of both sides of their mouth. They have no problem in changing direction when it suits them and feeling absolutely nothing. Okay? They have no problem with it. So don't be surprised if within a few weeks, within a few months, we see that all of a sudden these countries start talking differently, and even other European countries start talking differently, that they start saying what the United States is saying, that we need to end this. This needs to end as soon as possible. That this cannot go on. That, Zelensky cannot stay in power. We need someone new that can speak on the behalf of this Eastern European country. Don't be surprised if you hear that. Don't be surprised. Yeah, I mean, we are seeing the destruction of the heathens. We are seeing them turn on each other. And as I said previously, and I've made this statement a few times throughout various videos, this is not the fight of Yasharal. This is not our fight. We need to stay out of this. There's no protesting. There is no choosing sides. There's no arguing with either side. No, what we need to do is we need to pray to the Most High Yahuwah, fast if we're able to, and mind our own business. Get closer to the Most High. Fellowship with your brothers and sisters. That's what we need to do. Because, yes, this has everything to do with us in the sense of these are the groups of people that conspired together. They conspired with Edom against us, against Yasharal, to bring us to ruin. Right? When we say that there is wrong happening to us, they tell us that they don't know what we're talking about and they need to study it. Right? When we say We need reparations. And this doesn't matter where we are, whether you are so-called Black American, whether you are a Black Canadian, whether you are a Black person in the Caribbean, Afro-Caribbean, whether you are from Afro Latin America, South America, Black or Afro Brazilian, whether you are on the continent, whether you are in the UK or throughout Europe, wherever you are scattered, it's the same deal. Don't let anyone trick you and try to divide us and make you think that we're not the same people and we didn't go through the same and similar judgments from the Most High. We did. And we are currently going through it. We are the same people. Don't let anyone try to trick you in and let you think that, because you are dropped off in the Caribbean, that your struggle is not as bad as a struggle that we're seeing in America. All of our people were violated. They were enslaved. They went through unspeakable horrors. It's the same. Okay? And on the continent, they may not have removed them in the sense that they were brought on ships over here. Okay? But look at many of the countries where Yasharal still resides. Look at how they have looted those countries. They have used lies and deception against Yasharal. They have done all types of abuse and wickedness that, how is it possible that you have African countries that are rich in minerals, natural earth minerals? The land is fertile, it is rich. There is so much abundance there. But it's only recently that they're getting a hospital, that they're getting proper health care. How is it possible? Because they're looting the land. They're taking the resources off the land and not giving nothing to the people. But if you have been keeping up with the news, you are seeing that that is changing. There are companies that are being kicked out of Africa. There are companies that are being told that they need to pay huge amounts of sums of money to compensate for what they have taken. And the list goes on and on. So we are coming together as a people. We are understanding what we are seeing. And those that do not understand what they are seeing, that may have stumbled upon this video, or they're seeing this and they're saying, what is this? What is happening? Why would the President of the United States do this to the president of that Eastern European country? It is because prophecy needs to be fulfilled. Because these people that enslaved us, that went above and beyond what they were supposed to do, need to be judged. And the Most High said He is going to judge them. The Most High said He is going to judge them, and they're not going to escape judgment. They're not going to escape judgment at all. Okay? So they're going to have to pay for what they have done. Deuteronomy chapter 32 speaks of this. Verse 41 to 52. Okay? I will read verse 41 to 43. If I whet my glittering sword, and mine hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to mine enemies, and I will reward them that hate me. I will make mine arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, and that with the blood of the slain and of the captives, from the beginning of revengeance upon the enemy. Rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants, and will render vengeance to his adversaries, and will be merciful unto his land and to his people. If you know Deuteronomy chapter 28, all the way through to chapter 33, it does speak about the judgments that Yasharal will endure, the judgments that we will go through because we disobeyed the Most High. But it also says that within there, the nations think that, oh, well, since we're able to do this to Yasharal, their God, he ain't nothing, and we can do as we want and get away with it. But the Most High is saying no. He's saying, I am the one and true living God, and you will not get away with nothing. You will be judged for touching the apple of my eye, and I'm going to destroy you. That's what he is saying here. Okay? So, yes, that I wanted to touch on that. I wanted to go through that of what we are witnessing in front of us. It is judgment on these heathen nations, on Edom, and all those that conspired with Edom, which you can read in Psalm chapter 83. They have conspired with Edom to destroy Yasharal. And because of that, because of all the wickedness that they have done, to try to make everyone forget who Yasharal is, to even take on a false identity, to pretend that they are Yasharal, that it can never be that black skin, so-called black skin, a black person is from the line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that it couldn't be that Edom is, that Amalek is, right? That's what they want you to believe. But if you know the word of the Most High, you know who you are, and you will know that the Most High said, vengeance is mine. That's what he said. He said he is the all-consuming fire. That's what he said. That he is the judge of the earth. That he is the one who avenges, the God who avenges. Psalm 94. You will know all of this. The other thing I want to mention as well is that as Edom is turning on all of their allies, right? All of those that have conspired with them, they are going to have to set up a new boogeyman, right? Because Russia is not the boogeyman any longer. So they're going to have to set up a new boogeyman, and I'm going to go more into detail in another video about that boogeyman. But what you are seeing right now being formulated by this current administration is that Mexico and these other Central and South American countries are going to be the boogeyman. They're right there across the southern border. They have cartels that are letting in a lot of these, let's say, substances that are taking away a lot of Edom's children, and a lot of those that have conspired with Edom, it is taking away a lot of the heathens' children, a lot of their young people. And it's out of control because they don't want to see their children be destroyed. It was okay when so-called black children and young adults were being destroyed, right? Remember the crack epidemic? We were called super criminals. We were looked at as criminals because of an addiction, because they introduced these substances into our communities, right? It can never be that it was a medical issue back then. It can never be that it was, someone bringing these substances into our communities. But now, for them, that's what's happening, right? It's a medical issue. Don't criminalize them. It's not their fault. It's those cartels across the southern border. And what they are doing right now, what the administration is formulating right now, is a way to make those countries the boogeyman so they can go into those countries, because they have already branded the cartels as a terrorist group. So if you're branded as a terrorist group, think about what the United States has done to different terrorist groups around the world. Afghanistan, Iran, Syria, Libya, those that are occupying or who have occupied that land in Gaza. It starts with an H, that group. That are currently fighting for the Palestinians, right? I mean, we know what's done, right? With these terrorist groups, we know what is done. They usually will invade. It's a lot of violence that will take place because they need a new boogeyman. They need support from the American people. And Edom and those that conspire with Edom, it's very easy to see that they'll get on board with this, especially if they see it firsthand in their family, friends, and in their community what these substances have done. Right? I mean, which American wouldn't be on board with it? Well, it'd be the people, not just in America, but the people that will know the truth and what's actually going on. That they need a new boogeyman. And that's what you're seeing. So look out for that. As I said, I'll do a video on that to go more into detail about that. But they need to have a new boogeyman because Russia's not it anymore. Because they need to make an agreement with Russia over that Eastern European country, so they can't use them as a boogeyman anymore because they need to get to those rare earth minerals and make back their money because they're broke. Okay, so shalom, brothers and sisters. Thank you all for joining me today, wherever you are, and we'll talk soon. Shalom.